Hey there, Libra. How you doing? How you been? Welcome into Great Awakener Ether Realm. My name is Kimberly, and I am going to be doing an astrological report for the week of January 20th through the 26th. Okay, to start off this weekend, the Sun went into Aquarius. That is your fifth house of romance, children, and creativity. Okay, very, very nice house for you for the next month. That'll probably be where your focus is at. Okay, we'll get into more of that a little bit later in the reading. Um, we also have had a conjunction between Venus and Saturn. So that is your sixth house of work, daily habits, your health routine. The Venus is exalted in Pisces. It can do its best work in Pisces. Neptune is considered the higher octave of Venus, so it is a great placement to have that. For the last year and a half, Saturn has been in the sixth house. So you may have had a little bit of upheaval in your work, your daily habits, your health, or you could have had a whole lot of discipline as well. You may have gotten yourself fit. It depends on how you took the energy. Saturn is a heavy energy. It is, the planet of discipline. It is called the gatekeeper. So Saturn is a very karmic planet. It also rules your home zone, okay, your fourth house here. Saturn is the last planet that you can see without any kind of technology, okay, and it's also a very karmic planet. When you're talking about discipline, you want to think about the rings around it kind of as a belt, like tightening the belt, also as a karmic wheel. You also have the lunar nodes also moved into Pisces very recently. Those are also very karmic. So you have a lot of stuff going on in your sixth house at the moment. You might be dealing with health issues, okay? Might be dealing with work issues, just daily habits might be, any of those categories, okay? So when Venus comes in and conjuncts it, it softens Saturn a lot. So hopefully this weekend you've been able to kind of find some reprieve from Saturn's heavy hitting energy, okay? Hopefully for the rest of the month until Venus moves out of there, okay? So moving on. We start on Monday with the moon in your sign, your first house. First house is the way that you project yourself onto the world. Okay, so if you watched my video last week, there was a full moon in Cancer at 23 degrees, and this is coming in now. The moon is coming in now to square that axis. Okay. The Mercury has now started moving into that degree as well, and Mars was at 26 degrees and is now coming down to 23, 22 degrees. Okay, it's in retrograde at the moment. So Capricorn is your home sector, home and family. Okay, and Cancer is your career and reputation. With Mars being in there for quite some time, you may have been going through some upheaval in your career or reputation. And then the moon coming in, and then Mercury may have you pulling between your home and your career. Okay. Also, little Chiron here has been in Aries since April of 2018. Chiron's pretty far out there, so it takes a while to get through all of the signs. So Chiron is the wounded healer, and it's in your Aries, in your 7th house of partnerships, of either business or romantic partnerships, and of enemies. Okay, so when it triggers this axis again, if you watch my last video, you know this was about illumination, the full moon, and then coming to square that is all about acceptance. Okay, so right now you're probably thinking of a way, anything that was illuminated last Monday, you may be thinking of a way to find a solution for that. Okay, moving on to Tuesday, we have the moon going into Scorpio, where it makes immediately a square to the sun and Pluto in Aquarius. So as I said, the sun just moved into Aquarius. The Pluto just moved in there in November for the next 19 years. Aquarius is your 5th house of romance, creativity, and children. You're going to be going through a lot of transformation in the next 19 years with Pluto in there. Okay, Scorpio also represents your values house. It's your 2nd house. So you may be going, transforming your values around romance, children, creativity. Okay. Also, it's how you earn your money as well. So you might be thinking about getting into some creative business to help you earn extra money. You know, there's so many things that could be going on with little Pluto in there. The sun will be conjunct Pluto for about 5 days. I usually give about 5 degrees. So by next week, that energy will dissipate. Now, it is an intense energy, but since it's trine your sign, it's still going to be, it's a nice, intense energy, would be the best way to put it, right? Now, when you have the moon come in and squaring it, though, you're going to be up with your values, your 2nd house of values. And of course, like I said, the moon is Scorpio and Pluto rules Scorpio. So you got a kind of a double whammy there. So you might have a shakeup with your money and children, money and finances, or excuse me, money and romances is what I meant to say. How you value yourself and how you perceive that with your romances, right? Creativity. You might want to spend some money on your creativity, like I said. So could go either way. Squares are intense, but it's still in a nice 5th house for you. So that goes on Tuesday. Nothing else really happens on Tuesday, so you can let just the energy will dissipate, and you'll be all right. I don't see any worry there too much. Okay. Wednesday, the moon goes into a trine with Saturn at 16 degrees. Now, by Wednesday, Venus moves decently quickly. So it moves from 16 degrees from the conjunction into 20 degrees by the end of the week. Okay? The moon is going to come around and trine Saturn, Venus, and Neptune and the North Node in your work sector again. Work, daily habits, health. Okay? Yeah, so I already went through most of this with the conjunction, but even though your 6th house is about health and work, those energies are very soft. Like I said, Saturn is a heavy hitter, with that discipline, but Venus and Neptune, very soft. Not much to worry about, in my opinion. Okay? Then the moon is going to move into a sextile with Mercury here, which is going, Mercury is the 2nd fastest moving planet. The moon moves 2 signs every 2 to 2.5 days. and then Mercury moves signs about every 2.5 weeks. Okay, so by the time the moon comes around and sextiles Mercury, it's going to trine Mars. So all the upheaval that you may have had at this 23-degree axis that was triggered again, once the moon comes into Scorpio, you're going to have a nice sextile and trine coming in here. Again, this is your home and your career sectors. Okay, so whatever, that's the very nice thing about the moon. It moves quickly, and any upheaval that you have, it is possible for it to just, especially with all these trines coming in here as well. Okay. Then you're going to move, the moon's going to move into an opposition to Taurus. Taurus is your 8th house of other people's money, taxes, debt, sex, rebirth, death, transformation, intimacy. Uranus has been in Taurus for 6 to 7 years, so you're probably kind of used to the energy, I'm sure. But there's probably been a lot of upheaval in your other people's money sector. Okay, but Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, which is also your, romance sector. So you might be dealing with romance, intimacy, sex, and then of course you also have your children and your creativity aspecting these as well. Okay, so it's more or less going to highlight your 5th house ruler and your 8th house sector. Okay, and with the moon in Scorpio, again, that's your value sign, your 2nd house of how you see yourself, how you value yourself, and your earned income. Okay, so you can also have it highlight, earned income to taxes and debt as well. All right. So let's see. All of that is happening on Thursday, the 23rd. And then we have Mars sextile Uranus also on Thursday. Okay. 23 degrees. It's going to hit that axis again like we had on the full moon. These are, even though you have an opposition here, you're going to have in an opposition here, you also have these sextiles and trines going on here. Okay. So, and then you have, of course, these trines going on here. Got a nice little grand trine going on there. Let's see, Mercury opposite Mars, and then Mercury trine Uranus. Okay, you got another nice little triangle going on here as well. Okay, so honestly, I've been telling a lot of people, like, there might be a up-down kind of, like, all of a sudden you're kind of like, shoulders to neck, and then all of a sudden it just dissipates, and then everything just gets softer. Okay? So Friday, the moon moves into Sagittarius, where it immediately sextiles this Sun and Pluto conjunction again. Okay, Sagittarius is your communication zone, community, 3rd house, early learning, short distance travel, and then of course Aquarius is your 5th house again. So you might be traveling to see one of your children, a romantic partner, something like that, or just communicating with them as well. All right. And then Saturday, we have got the moon opposing Jupiter in Gemini here. Jupiter is the natural ruler of Sagittarius. And these are your, again, your 3rd house, and then Gemini is your 9th house of expansion. I think I went over this in last week's video, but I'll go over it again quickly. Jupiter is the planet of expansion because it rules Sagittarius, okay, which is the natural ninth house of the zodiac, okay, traditional, I should say. So you're going to be having a whole lot of higher learning going on here. Maybe you might be long distance travel. Maybe you might be learning some new language. But this moon is going to come in and trigger Jupiter. Now, Jupiter and Venus are the benefactors of astrology. They really, they don't really hurt anything, honestly. They're very good energies, okay? And so, not too huge of a deal, all right? So then later in the day, we come into a square with Saturn, Venus, and Neptune and the North Node in Pisces. Again, this is your community sector, and this is your work health sector. Okay, you might be getting I don't know, together with some people you may know to go and work out. Whatever resonates with you between these two houses is, it's a square, but it's a soft square, in my opinion. So you might be communicating with some work colleagues. You might have a little bit of like a upshift in your with some work colleagues for just real quick, and then as soon as when the moon squares Saturn, it is a little bit more of a harsh, but then comes in Venus and Neptune, and it just kind of, dissipates it and just kind of throws it all that in trash. Okay, so not too big of a deal in my opinion. Okay, then also on Saturday, probably my favorite is Venus trine Mars. Venus trine Mars. Those are the two lovers of the zodiac. Venus is your ruling planet, and trining. They're the I can't really describe that much more. They're the two lovers of the zodiac, and coming into a trine. Now, Mars being in your career and reputation sector. It is retrograde, but it's still full of passion even in retrograde, right? Passion and intensity. Trining your work sector, I don't know, maybe you might have a little romance kickoff with a coworker or something. Yeah, hey, I'm just going to throw that out there, doesn't, yeah. But the trine is already a great aspect, friendliest aspect you can get, but it's also in two water houses, which are very ethereal, very emotional and romantic. So you can't really go wrong with that aspect, okay? This does not happen too often because of the way that the planets orbit, so take advantage of it. That happens on Saturday, but, they're moving slow enough that the energy will still be around for a few days, okay? So moving on to Sunday. We have the moon square Neptune, and the North Node. Now, I didn't go into this a whole lot in the last video. North nodes, the reason why they're so important is that is where eclipses take place. Okay, they're not objects; they're mathematical points. Okay, and depending on now, if you're going by Western astrology or Vedic astrology, and I do Western astrology, the points may differ. Okay, but in Western astrology, the nodes are now in Pisces and Virgo at 29 degrees. Okay, they are very karmic. The nodes only come around every 18 years. So let's say if you have your North Node in Pisces, and you're 18, 36, 54, you know, it'll come back around and hit that north node again. And every 9 years, it'll come and hit your south node. Okay? Very karmic in nature. You know, when you do synastry, a lot of, if there are aspects to your nodes with your partner, you know, it can indicate like a past life relationship and such. So, but the moon comes in to square its own nodes, but with Neptune there, it's a very ethereal planet. Again, it'll soften everything, okay? I always say when the moon comes in and squares planets like Venus and Neptune, it kind of puts you in this la-di-da kind of like fog and, you know, like, you know, I don't care, just, you know, and kind of euphoric a little bit, and it is very laid back, you know. And of course, we're talking about the moon that rules Cancer as well. So, you know, you have the moon coming in to, you know, trine Neptune, and then of course you have the Venus and Mars trining each other as well. Did I say trine? I apologize. I meant square. The moon is squaring. So even though it's a harsh aspect, it's a harsh aspect between two, you know, ethereal planets. So not too big of a deal there, okay? And then you have, on Sunday, you also have Mercury sextile Neptune. Mercury is very fast moving. It goes from 19 degrees to 27 degrees this week to make that nice little sextile to Neptune again. Neptune's getting a lot of love. Your whole sixth house is getting a lot of love this week. So, yeah, again, going back to that, you know, might start a romance with a with a coworker. Who knows? Never know, you know. And then we also have Venus sextile Uranus. And then, of course, we had Mercury trine Uranus. Okay, this is, again, your 8th house of intimacy, other people's money, sex, death, transformation. Okay, so this weekend, I've been telling everybody, this weekend it has, sure, there are oppositions, but then you have all of these trines and sextiles going on that really come in and just make, you know, kind of a magical weekend, honestly. And let's see, that is the 26th that this ends on, okay? So, at the very end there, the moon is going to go into Capricorn, but I'll explain next week. We'll go into next week, right? So I am going to leave it there. If you like this video and you want to see next week's, you know, you're more than welcome to subscribe, like the video. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to comment. I do offer personals with astrology and tarot. I also did want to add in there that I will start doing tarot videos. Tarot, I explained this to Virgo as well. My mission is to help people with inner healing. Astrology is really the big dog for that, okay? I always call tarot like astrology's little brother. Tarot is wonderful, it's a great divination tool, but astrology, if you're looking for inner healing, astrology is where you want to go first. A lot of people use tarot for, you know, to look into partnerships with people and such. But the thing is, if you're looking for a nice, healthy partnership, you should first concentrate on your inner healing. Astrology is great for that, okay? And of course, it has a lot of timing down to where you can probably expect, you know, partners to possibly come in. But it all has to do, you know, if you're attracting high vibrational people, it's because you're high vibing, right? So if you want a healthy relationship, you also need to look at yourself and have a healthy relationship with yourself as well. So that is why I prioritize astrology over tarot. I understand tarot is more entertaining, right? But astrology is really where you're going to get your inner healing from first. Okay? So, with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week. I pretty darn sure that you're going to have a good weekend. Until next time, I hope to see you again. All right? Bye, Libra.